Are you normalizing pausing and reflecting, right? Pausing and reflecting, pause and reflecting is the conscious decision to stop moving through life reactively and start engaging intentionally, right? The pause is not the absence of progress. It's the movement that makes progress meaningful. Reflections transforms experiences into understanding and understanding. And what I mean by that is, like, you ever look back on something and then kind of looked at all the scenarios and that see what actually played out, and you're like, dang, I see why that happened. You know what I mean? That's why that happened. And you going back and thinking about it and then reflecting on or focusing on what actually happened, the facts and the things that led to what happened. When you pause, you reclaim your presence from the noise. You step outside the momentum of doing and returning to the essence of being. You step outside the momentum of doing, and then you return to the essence of being. Reflection then becomes the mirror that's revealing where you have grown, where you have resisted, and where your energy calls for redirection. Some of us, our energy do need redirecting, right? Some of us, our energy do need redirecting. Do you know when your energy needs to be redirected? How soon do you know? How often do you take note of that? Spiritually, to pause and to reflect is to honor divine timing. One of the questions I've always asked myself and others is, how do you honor divine timing, right? The timing of the Most High. One way to honor that is to pause and reflect. It's the trusting that even stillness serves a purpose, because pausing and reflecting is a type of stillness. The universe often moves in whispers, not in rushes. And only through intentional stillness do you hear the sacred guidance that momentum tends to drown out. To pause is an act of power. To reflect is an act of wisdom. Together, they keep you, together they keep your evolution aligned with awareness rather than autopilot. And when I say your evolution, your growth, right? Your development, right? It keeps it in alignment rather than autopilot. How many of us ever been in the autopilot mode when it came to just living life, right? Your growth, maybe even your journey at times. You ever been on autopilot when it came to your journey? I ain't gonna lie, I've been there before. You know what I mean? How long did it take you to realize you was on autopilot? And then how did you get off autopilot? You dig what I'm saying? Pausing and reflecting looks like taking quiet moments before reacting to emotional situations. Taking a quiet moment, and I'm not talking about one Mississippi. Nah, taking a quiet moment before reacting to emotional situations. Sometimes you just gotta step away, right? I gotta step away. Let me take it all in. Let me review the facts, and I'm gonna come in. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta step away. How many of us can relate to sometimes we gotta step away and think about some things before we make a move? Stepping back from consistent productivity to evaluate purpose. Stepping back from consistent productivity to evaluate purpose. We get in the mode sometimes. I know a lot of us men do this too. Women do it too. Where we are constantly in the work era. We locked in. Work. We doing the Rihanna. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about the dance. But we locked into our work so much where we got the tunnel vision. And all we doing is working. overlooking our health, overlooking our relationships, overlooking our other obligations, right? And we're like, dang, all this work, what is this work worth? You ever found yourself asking like, dang, I did all this work. I've been working all these hours. I've been doing all of this. I've been doing that. I've been doing this. And for what? You're like, dang, for nothing, right? Or does it have purpose? So pausing and reflecting looks like stepping back from consistent productivity to evaluate purpose. Pausing and reflecting looks like journaling at the end of each week to gather clarity from experiences, right? And, I would even suggest journaling daily if you can, right? And it could be a video journal. It could be something you've written down. You could do it every other day or maybe every week. And then, reflecting on what happened for the week, right? To gain clarity with those experiences. Pausing and reflecting looks like listening inward before seeking external validation or advice. Let me ask my higher self. Let me ask myself, what should I do? Before I start asking this one and that one, mama and cousin and sister and dad and this and let me ask YouTube tarot and TikTok tarot. Let me ask Greater Grand Rising. Sometimes, or a lot of times, you need to listen inward first before seeking external validation or advice or confirmation. And I get it. We want to be right about the things we're doing, right? But how do you build the trust in yourself if you ain't never trusting yourself? Woo! How do you build the trust in yourself if you don't ever trust yourself? Come on, somebody. Pausing and reflecting looks like allowing rest, allowing meditation, allowing solitude to become part of your daily rhythm. And I'm not talking about, I went to bed and got some rest. No, real rest, right? And you may say, like, what's real rest? You know what real rest is for you, right? That real rest be like, ooh, that's up good. And I know some of us be like, listen, I can't do that, Greater. Like, I got too much stuff going on. Real rest, I'm doing this by myself. I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hats on. I don't even know what real rest is. Meditation, solitude. I got all these people and kids and stuff around me. Ain't no solitude. Okay. Well, if that's not something you want, right? Cool, I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking to the ones who is like, I'm ready for pausing and reflecting. I'm ready to make this part of my life. I know I got umpteen thousand kids and all these things going on, and I got to help this family member and that person. But you know what? I'm going to set aside 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever I can, and I'm going to make this a practice. And maybe I can't do it every day, but I'm going to lead up to at least once, twice, 3, 4 times a week. Maybe I might got to sacrifice my little 5-minute break time just to pause, reflect. Let me jot down something in my little journal. Pausing and reflecting looks like letting silence teach you what noise cannot. Letting silence teach you what noise cannot. Getting out the drama, right? Sometimes you just need to sit back and just take in from the silence. Where in your life are you moving so quickly that you stop hearing your own wisdom? Pausing and reflecting. So, I just wanted to bring this to you because pausing and reflecting is something that is crucial on the journey of life, right? So that way you like, you know what? Let me learn from my experiences, or I'm gonna have to do it again. Let me know if this resonated with you. If it did, you know what to do. Hit them comments below, hit that like button, and shoot, let's keep in touch. All right. Peace.